Hi, welcome. I'm Madison King, and I'm going to share with you my little pearls of wisdom today. Okay, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start off by talking very openly and very honestly. I may live to regret this. Okay, about let's call them the steps in my evolution as a practitioner. I'm not going to say things I did wrong because I don't think they were. They were things I needed to learn. And a lot of them are really small things. They're nuances. But you know, when you have a cluster of nuances, they really do make a difference to you as a practitioner. So I'm going to be very honest with you. Okay. In this, so don't think any less of me for these things. This is I'm hoping going to be really helpful to you. Now, I always think a little bit of humility in a practitioner is very good, but too much self-doubt is not a good thing. It sets up an energy of not being particularly safe with Maddie because she's not sure what she's doing. She's not confident or something, you know. So I had this problem at the beginning, which was a roadblock for me, is I had too much humility and it turned into that self-doubt of me, little Maddie King. I can't do this. That success with that client was, oh, that was fluke. That was a coincidence. You know, I really doubted my testing ability when I first started muscle testing. Okay, I was the worst one in the group. There are only about 4 of us with Donna Eden. And I was so bad. I doubted myself so much. Those of you who know the elements, I'm a little metal element. I'm also a little Virgo, so everything has to be precise. You know, why all the time. And it got so bad, though, that seriously, I laugh now. But at the time, I said to Donna Eden, I said, I just can't continue with this because I'm absolutely rubbish at it. I can't do it. They can all do it. I can't do it. She laughed out loud at me and she said, the only thing that's getting in the way of you being able to test is you. Relax, stop judging yourself, stop making you be so stressed. The minute you get uptight and stressed and doubtful, you're stopping, you know, you're blocking the energy. Relax, Maddie. Well, you know, this little Virgo metal said, oh, very well for you to say relax. I just couldn't. But I began to make a sort of conscious effort to relax. And suddenly I was off and running and I began to have confidence in myself as a baby kinesiologist, a baby energy worker, if you want. I knew I had a lot to learn, but I knew I had the tools of my trade, i.e. the testing, under my belt, and I could only get better. I could see that I was developing as a tester. So that was the first thing, you know, relax around the whole thing, because when we get stressed, when we get judgmental about ourselves, it sets up a block to the energy, and we're all about getting energy moving. Anyway, I then went totally, the second thing I'm going to share with you, I went totally the opposite direction. And through sheer enthusiasm over the next year or so, I would bombard bodies with techniques and testing, you know, and oh, we test this, oh, we test that, oh, we do this, oh, we do that, you know. And when you first start out, it's so tempting because it is this magical Aladdin's cave and you've got all these things and you want to, I'll do this and I'll do that, you know, even though your teacher may tell you not to. Sheer enthusiasm overrules that very often. And what happens is the body, metaphorically speaking, that you're working on just holds up its hands and says, I'm not talking to you anymore because I am in total overwhelm. I don't know what you want, can't take it on board, so I'm not talking. And that's when you begin to get confused results and lack of clarity and direction in what you're working on with someone. So taper that enthusiasm a little bit. And I began to, again, it was Donna that guided me, and I began to develop a real belief in KISS, in keep it simple. Okay, and I found that once I was keeping it simple, the bodies I was working with were feeling much more relaxed, were talking to me energetically with far more ease. And doing less really did produce better results. So curb your enthusiasm. I had to curb my enthusiasm, which I did. you know, this whole thing about keeping it simple. Now, I don't know if this is true or if it's a myth that's grown up, but an acupuncturist once told me that the true master acupuncturists of, there's maybe a handful in the entire world, can just use one needle to help you, okay? Because they clear away everything. They see exactly what is needed, what the priority problem is, what the core of the problem is, and they can sort of strip back the layers to uncover that core and that cause, and with one needle they help you. So I'm not suggesting any of us can get to that particular stage, that is sort of master status, but we can strive to, you know, clearing away those layers, uncover by testing, uncovering the cause and the core, retaining a curiosity. I think one of the attributes of a good practitioner is that curiosity of always saying, well, why did that happen? What if I did it this way? What if I tried? You know, because if you explore, if you're curious and you explore, you begin to delve deeper, going past the obvious, you know. So keep it simple will actually take you deeper into the body. At the beginning, before I trusted more my intuition and that wise one within, if you want, I would really, I'd overcomplicate my thinking, you know, and in that over complexity, I do miss the point, the whole point, you know. And I think it's a human nature thing sometimes. The answer must be complex, you know, or it must be very expensive. With women, it's often it must be very expensive. But, you know, it's that complexity. And, you know, I was using my head far more than trusting my instinct. Now, it's not one or t'other, as they say. You weave both together. Yes, of course, you use your intellect sometimes to give you a direction. But once I began to really respect my intuition and the ability to connect to the energies, because that's what it really is, that bridge into the energy, the wise one within of that person. Once I started trusting that, then suddenly everything was much clearer. And I will never forget the first time I ever truly overrode my intellect, and I just followed the testing and I followed my intuition, and I really followed what the body was telling me, rather than saying, oh, no, I think it's this, you know. And there comes a point when one day you think, I really, really did do it. Yes, with testing, but I really connected to that wise one within. And, you know, sometimes you don't know exactly why on intuition, but it will always come afterwards. You know, I always need to know, well, why did that happen? And then you say, of course, that's why I was guided towards doing that particular technique. So don't overcomplicate, don't over intellectualize things. We're dealing with energies, and energies are not necessarily intellectual. And that's just a word, really, isn't it? Intellectual, but deal with the energy, the language of the energy. I also, at the beginning, did not know the meaning of the word no. I said yes to everything. I wanted to go out and heal the world, you know, and my client base built up very quickly. I was so busy 7 days a week, working, heal the world, you know. And I began to neglect my own self-care. So I would always say to every student of mine, is it's not selfish to put yourself number one on your care list, you know, and constantly bring yourself back. If you are familiar with the elements, you know, if you are a primary earth element, this is going to be a little bit of an issue for you, perhaps. You know, you need to watch yourself. Are you giving yourself enough yin downtime to replenish? It is fine giving out to your clients, your loved ones, and the world, but you must balance that. And I learned the hard way. You must balance it with enough yin time, enough time to replenish, enough time for you. Constantly check in, because, you know, we can totally ignore ourselves. And there's always that phrase that people say when you're on the plane, you know, put on your oxygen mask before you go to help others. You know, that's a bit of a cliche now, isn't it? But it's a cliche because it's true. Okay. The other thing that I had to learn was I tried to be like my teachers. I had so much respect for my teachers, okay? And I tried to be very intellectual, like David Feinstein, you know, Donna Eden's husband, who is an energy psychologist. And I really desperately wanted to be a Donna Eden clone. And I didn't really, it took me a while to find my own style and to realize that that style was okay. And you're experiencing it now, okay? I really, really honor the work we do. I really, really honor it. But I also like to be down to earth. I like to be practical. I like to express things in a very simple way. When it's appropriate, I might make not a joke, but you can see I'm a little bit humorous. Well, it might not be your sense of humor, but you know what I mean. I mean, but you've got to know your clients on that. But, you know, there's a lightness of being. And I thought at first that was wrong. I thought I had to be intellectual. I had to use long words and sentences. And when I thought, you know, I want to do it like this. And you find your style. And once I found it and I stuck to it, I'm never afraid to say, I don't know, but I will find out, you know. That's another thing, you know, you let go of the ego a little bit. You can be the best you can be in your own style. And, you know, you just come to accept that some people will gravitate towards you and some people won't. Some people will really want the intellectualizing. There's nothing wrong in that. It's just different styles. So it took me a while. And I never regret anything in life, but in some ways, I wish I'd known that my style was actually okay, you know, a little bit earlier on. One last thing I'll say is I'm never sure if this is ego or if it's just a natural thing when you're working with people, but I was too attached, if you want, to immediate outcomes. You know, I wanted the alleluia moments. I want the, we jump up from the couch and I'm healed. And, you know, I wanted that. And it took me a while. And I would say, especially if you are starting out, those of you who are more seasoned practitioners will, I'm sure, already know this, that we always affect our clients. We are always a catalyst for change for the better. But that change may not mature, if you want, and manifest for an hour, a day, a week, a month, or even longer. And it may never be associated with you, but you will make a change. And I think the philosophy of I take no credit, nor do I take any blame is a good one. Remain stable. If they have a great reaction, that's good. If they don't, that's okay too, because something will happen further down the line. And, you know, it releases you from self-judgment, from that feeling of, oh, failed, you know? No, you haven't failed. You know, something will have happened there. You know, we're working with the energies of love, let alone our techniques, which we learn. We have a desire to help our clients. It's all about the client. And that in itself, just by osmosis, will help that person receive a stability and a balance in their energies. Okay, so I hope that some of these things will be a little bit of a hyperlink or a shortcut, especially if you're just starting out in kinesiology, and that it's going to be like a little springboard for your confidence. At the end of the day, yes, we're dealing with very serious things. You know, our clients come to us because they're in pain, they're in trouble, something's wrong. But there is an amazing lightness of being to this work. And maintaining that, maintaining your self-care, your stability, your balance, your optimism, okay, not Pollyanna, but practical optimism, by osmosis, as soon as they walk into their room, before you do anything, your energy will be beginning to work with theirs, and their energy will respect yours and want to work with you. And that goes on totally outside the physical verbal conversation you're having with that client. Okay, so I have developed this little protocol specially for you, and it's divided into two parts. Okay, one is building that much needed self-belief, okay? And this can apply especially when you first start, but also as you go on. Sometimes I have known seasoned practitioners who have managed to exist extremely well, but they still doubt themselves. They still don't have that mini me is sabotaging them in some way. So anyone will benefit from this. I'm going to show you now. It's probably familiar to some of you. And then the second part is we're working with energy, how to really open up the flow of energy in the body so that you can work with it. Okay, and you can work with it well, and it's not like pushing water uphill. There's an ease and a lightness of being to it. And then this morning I decided to add a little baby bonus tip on the end on how to, on an acupressure point that will help you gain some clarity in those, with those clients where the energy, you just, I just don't know what's going on here, you know. So let's start off, first of all, with working with our mini me. Now, mini me is I told you I like to make, my style is making things simple, okay? But mini me is my name for that area outside of your conscious control. Okay, so she or he can be malprogrammed, if you want, to sabotage your efforts in testing, in working as a practitioner, in building a business, in anything in your life, in leaving a destructive relationship, in moving house, whatever. But you may want something, you may want to believe, for example, that you can energy test, or you can muscle test, or you can work with the energy. You may think, of course I want to, Maddie. It's my work, or it's something I want to study. But if your little mini me inside is going, no, you don't want any of that. No, 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 no. It will sabotage you all the way, and you will never achieve your full potential. You'll be able to do whatever you want, but you will never achieve easily your full potential if mini me doesn't feel safe and is therefore working to support you rather than sabotaging you, you know, by creating confusion in your work, by creating self-doubt, all these things. And I worked for many years looking at the reasons why we doubt ourselves, the reasons why things don't happen, the psychological reversals, if you want. And to keep it really simple, the two things that came up always, most of the time, was safety was number one. Mini me does not feel safe in what you're trying to do, or it doesn't feel you deserve it. You naughty girl, Maddie, you don't deserve that success, or it's not safe to have that success. And it can be totally illogical. It can be a remark that's gone into your brain in childhood, in the womb, in youth, in last week or something. It doesn't have to be logical, because mini me doesn't work in logic. It's working in survival. And it's just saying, no, that's going to threaten your survival if you become a really good kinesiologist. Okay? Because maybe it's even a past life. Maybe at some stage you took responsibility for someone's health and something went wrong. Who knows? You don't, with this particular thing, you don't have to know. You just talk directly to mini me. And I think what might be good is to do it all together. I'm going to tell you what we'll do, and then we'll do it all together. Okay, so you might make a statement. I always start off with safety. And if safety doesn't quite work, then you can change it to the whole issue of I now deserve. So, but we'll all do safe. It is now safe for me, you can say, to muscle test with ease and accuracy. Maybe that's what you want to focus on. Or you could say it's now safe for me to work with the body's energies. All is well. Okay, but let's all do the same thing, and we'll do it about testing with ease. It's safe to test the body. I do add, because this is me, and you don't have to, at the end of my little affirmation, I do add, it's easy, I'm doing it well, I'm enjoying it, I'm a great muscle tester. Adapt to that end bit. You can do it with me and see how you feel, but adapt that end bit to something maybe less dramatic that suits you. So we're gonna all have that same statement. It's now safe for me to muscle test with ease and accuracy. Now you have a choice here, and we'll do each one. Okay, one is placing the left hand over the heart. So immediately you are making a connection with your heart energy. Okay, and with yourself, with your inner gatekeeper. Okay, you're just connecting, and you just take a few deep breaths. Okay, with your middle finger, your pericardium sex finger, you're just going to tap over this little triple warmer point here. If you don't know what triple warmer point, if you're new to this, don't worry. But the on your left hand, just below the web between your ring finger and little finger, just come down. You come into a dip. That's where you're tapping. So really what you're doing here is you're connecting two fire element meridians. The triple warmer, that's the point there, and the circumflex point here. They're particularly important. I'll just fill you in on this now, and then we'll do it together. Particularly important because if you are trying to talk to mini-me, you don't want any doors closed. You don't want any barriers up. And these are the two meridians of energies, which are your gatekeepers, if you want. Triple warmer is your external gatekeeper. You know, its job, one of its jobs is to defend you against things that might threaten your very survival. And don't forget, little mini-me is saying, no, 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 if she muscle tests with ease and accuracy, that could endanger her. Not logical, but triple warmer will kick off and put up a little bit of a gate. Circulation, sex, pericardium, heart protector, it's the same, different words for the same pathway of energy. She is triple warmer's yin wife. Okay, now she's much gentler and she's much deeper. She is the protector of your inner kingdom of the heart. Okay, so if her doors are closed, this reprogramming is not going to go deep if she doesn't feel comfortable with it. So this is just talking to them. It's like saying, okay, it's all right, it's safe, okay? So that's the connection there. At the same time, this vibration when you tap is going through to the thymus. And that whole thymus area, if you tap, can put you into a temporary state of balance and acceptance. I mean, some people, some traditions say it's an entry point to the soul. So you're doing a lot with simply tapping that, okay? But what we're trying to achieve with that is that your body, your mini-me, will accept what you're asking it to do, what you're stating it can do. An alternative, I'm going to give you, how many am I giving you? 3 or 4 techniques to say. Do them all and choose one that really resonates with you. I love this one. I just think it and also tapping wakes up the energies, you know. But if that's a little bit too yang for you, what you can do is you come up more or less 2 thumb widths from the wrist wrinkle, 1, 2, in line with the circumflex finger. So roughly in that area, and you come round to the same point on the opposite. So you're basically getting, if you want facts, triple warmer 5 and pericardium 6. Okay, don't have to be exact. We're not putting needles in. What we're going to do is we're going to stroke as we say it. And that has the same thing. It's the same effect, but in a different way. This is, hey, it's okay. This is, it's all right. You know, inner and outer gatekeepers, it's all right. And you can come on the other side if you want. You can do both, or you can stay with one. And that's a very gentle way of opening up reception to what you're saying. The other thing you can do is, I'm sure you all know this, what's it called? Tefning, isn't it? You can just stroke the inside of your arm. You're getting heart and sex there. It's a feeling of safety. You know, we do this to children often if they wake up from a nightmare. It's a really gentle calming effect. The other thing you can do is activate the microcosmic circuit, as you're saying it. So you're getting energy going around everything. And I would just put middle finger in the navel, other finger, middle finger on the third eye, the classic hook up, press in and up, and you can say it like that. So I would say what we're going to do together is, I would say do it 6 times, twice a day. I always like to do things if I'm reprogramming for 21 days. There's all sorts of different schools of thought saying 7 days, 28 days, 1 day, 1 month, whatever. Just keep doing it until you can objectively evaluate that suddenly muscle testing or whatever you've talked about is easier. I always think it's good to objectively evaluate, sort of take a measurement of where you are now on something, do, and reevaluate. Okay, so let's all do it together, and I'm going to do this one because I love this one, but you can do any of the ones I told you. But we'll do it together, and then you can explore this at home. Okay, so the statement was saying, it's now safe for me to test with ease and accuracy. All right, so hand on heart, feet on the ground, smile. Simplest energy exercise is to smile. Get the endorphins going, and immediately your little mini me is thinking, what's she smiling about? There's something good going on here, you know? And then with our middle finger, we're going to tap this area here. And we just tune in, first of all, okay? And now we're going to say, it is now safe for me to muscle test with ease and accuracy. It's easy. I'm doing it. I'm doing it well. I'm enjoying it. I'm a great tester. It's now easy. It's now safe for me to energy test with ease and accuracy. I'm doing it. It's easy. I'm doing it well. I'm enjoying it. I'm a great muscle tester. It is now safe for me to muscle test with ease and accuracy. It's easy. I'm doing it. I'm doing it well. I'm enjoying it. I'm a great muscle tester. It's now safe for me to muscle test with ease and accuracy. It's easy. I'm doing it. I'm doing it well. I'm enjoying it. I'm a great muscle tester. It's now safe for me to energy test with ease and accuracy. It's easy. I'm doing it. I'm doing it well. I'm enjoying it. I'm a great muscle tester. One last time. It's now safe for me to muscle test with ease and accuracy. It's easy. I'm doing it. I'm doing it well. I'm enjoying it. And I am a great muscle tester. And I'll often end just with a thank you. Okay. Now, you can do this however many times you want. And even if you're standing, well, we don't stand in queues anymore, do we, because of the pandemic. But even if you're sort of just sitting there or in traffic lights or something, you can just say it. You don't even have to do the tap. But just really say, okay, I'm going to commit. Even if you're a great energy tester, you can be better, you know, to doing that for 21 days. Okay. What I tend to do is I'll put little post-it notes like on my computer screen or in the bathroom. And when I see that post-it note, I think, okay, oops, I better have a quick tap, even if you just do it a couple of times. Okay. But keep reprogramming and working with your mini me to absolutely convince her or him it's really safe. It's no big deal. It's enjoyable. It's easy. And you're a great energy tester. You might then think, yeah, okay, but there's still something missing. And then you could explore other areas of your evolution as a practitioner. So you could work around it being safe, or you're deserving to have the confidence to keep it simple, to be yourself, to find your own style. It's now safe for me to be me, you know. It's now safe for me to up-level my skills, or it's now safe for me to move on to the next level, because we're always evolving as practitioners. Even, you know, I've been doing it, I don't know, 3-4 decades now, and I still feel a student. I still feel there's a lot more evolution. I haven't got it yet. I haven't got it right yet, but you're always evolving. And also it's now safe for me to let go of self-judgment in my treatments, you know. So look at aspects of yourself. You know, you don't have to discuss them with anyone else. You can be very, very honest with yourself. And you can use this technique to help overcome these energetic and emotional blocks, which can be very deep. I mean, this is a really simple way, but, you know, keep it simple. Sometimes the simple ways are best. So that, I hope, will really begin to enhance and boost your belief in yourself. You believe in you. And as I said, if you believe in you, your clients will too, and your clients' energies will too. Now, the other things I wanted to share with you was we're energy workers. So it makes sense that if we're working with energy, the energy of the body should be flowing. Of course, it's always flowing. Otherwise, the person in front of you wouldn't be in front of you, okay? But there's a difference between working with energy, which is really moving, albeit in the wrong way, but it's moving, to energy which is just sitting there. You know, really, it's a dribble of energy, and it's really like, I've got to pull it up, and, you know, it's not really talking to you properly. You know, we all have come across that. And these 4 little points is actually, they're actually called the 4 gates in traditional Chinese medicine. And they're 2 sets of the same points. And if you work these before you work on yourself, so if you have a daily practice, energy practice of any kind, whether it be yoga or any energy practice, do these before, and you'll wake the energy up. The energy will be flowing, and then you can access it more easily, you can move it more easily, and everything will happen with more ease. Okay. So one of them I do want to flag at the start: do not do this if you are pregnant or think you might be pregnant, because it's one of those forbidden points. And I'm a huge we're not using needles, but I like us to be safe. But you could do the other one. So the energetic gates, what are they? Okay, so let's start with the one, do not do this if you're pregnant, okay, is large intestine 4. And these are the 2 points because there's one on each hand. So the easiest way of finding large intestine 4, and you don't have to remember the name, you know, that number is just one of the gates, is if you put your hand, your thumb and your finger together like this, okay, or you can do it like that, hello, one of those, where the end of this crease is, okay, press in onto the side of this bone here, okay, so that's going to give you, you're on this bone coming down from your index finger, and you're roughly where the wrinkle ends, the crease ends there. Now, this is large intestine 4, is a real master point. And if you're unfamiliar with acupressure points, you'll find that with a lot of them, what we call the master points, you just feel, and there's less electrical resistance on the skin, and your finger, especially if you close your eyes, will actually just sink into it. It's like a little, yoo-hoo, I'm here, gap, a little dip. Okay, so that is large intestine 4. You hold it with any finger. I quite like holding it with my thumb and holding my hand like that. And you just hold that maybe for 30 seconds or a minute, or until you feel the blood beginning to pulsate into the point. And then you would do the same on the other side. Okay, so hold it, experiment with fingers. It could be thumb. I love the thumb. A lot of pure acupuncturists say you can't feel the pulse in the point so well with the thumb. You may with a yang finger or a yin finger. That index finger's yang and the middle finger is yin. Okay, experiment. As I say, especially if you're new, you're right or wrong. It's how your body connects well. And you would hold this, then you hold it on the other side. So come along the index finger bone to where the crease ends in your little face, smiley face, go in on that bone, just explore the area and it will fall into the dip of that acupressure point. So you're going to hold those, as I say, for as long as it feels good. Minimum, I would say, if you really want figures, minimum of 30 seconds. And at the same time, when you're holding, what I do is I talk to my energy. So if I'm doing it, I'm going to say, okay, and you use your own language, but I talk very flippantly to my energies. I say, okay, guys, come on, wakey, wakey. All the energy is flowing through my upper body with ease. Wakey, wakey, whatever language you want, whatever terminology, talk to your energy. That carries, those words carry an energy and it will support what the points are doing. So that opens up all the energy roughly from the waist upwards. This is fantastic if you're working on the head of anyone, with migraines, with anything to do in the upper body, shoulders, neck, pain in the neck, anything in the upper body. This one's great for opening up. So you've got all the energy running in the upper body. You'll find it's much easier to move it when it's flowing in this way. Now, the other two gates, there's 4 in all, are on the foot. And I'm not even attempting to raise my foot to the camera. So I have a foot here. Here's one I made before. So it's liver 3. Again, it's a source point. It's a master point. And if you are a researcher, this is one of those points where different models, different schools have it in slightly different places. But you're going to come between the big toe and the toe next to it. So you're going to come up here. You're going to come up this channel to be. Some schools say it's too soon. Soon is spelled C-U-N, if you've seen that in acupressure books. And it's basically the body's inch. Okay, so my body inch is going to be very different to a 6'4" rugby player's. It's going to be very different to a 3-year-old child. Okay, that's how they measure it. So some say it's too soon, some say it's 3 soon up. But what you can do is you're going to fall into the gap. That's what all good acupuncturists do. Okay, you know roughly where you're going. Feel for the gap. So come up, because as we know, liver is on the inside of this big toe here, big toenail. You come up and then you think, oh, I've dipped in there. That's liver 3. And it's on both feet. And you would hold those. If you're not quite sure, hold them with 2 or 3 fingers over. Don't get too hung up. We're not acupuncturists. We're just going for that area with the intention. And again, we'll talk to the energies and say, okay, all that energy is just surging through my legs. It feels so good. The gates are open. Okay. So those are the traditional gates to open up energy in your upper and lower body. And once you know where they are, it's going to take you 2 minutes in your treatment of yourself or your client to open up the energies. And that investment of 2 or 3 minutes, especially when you're doing it on your client, you can do both sides at the same time, is going to pay huge dividends. It really, really does. I also like as well to just end by tapping K27, because that ensures at least all the energies in the body are actually running in the right direction. You've got them, you've woken them up, they're running in the right direction. You'll feel a difference in your treatments, I promise you, if you do that. Now, you've got all this energy moving around, and I do think you have to pay attention to grounding. Grounding is something I think we all learn early on, and you think, oh yeah, that's easy, that's can't be bothered, at your peril, ignore grounding. Okay, it's something which you would do on yourself and also on your clients, and it also helps keep that flow of energy, because when our energies awaken, we have with the yang energy enters, the yin energy enters from the earth. But also all the old, stale, tired energy, a lot of it will discharge through our feet into the earth. Okay, and that's the secret. You're working with old stale energy, either on yourself or your clients. You don't want it hanging around in the body. You want it to have clearly defined and exit gates wide open. And the biggest exit gates are through the soles of your feet, especially through kidney 1. So grounding is incredibly important for discharging any old, stale, tired energy, but it also then allows that wonderful, replenishing, nurturing yin energy to enter and help you heal, help that self-healing. So it's really important that we keep our polarity right, as a lot of you will know. And there's lots of ways of ensuring our polarity is exactly as it should be in relation to the earth. So you have that discharge and entry, that two-way street, if you want, wide open, and there's not a big roadblock on it. And you also feel more aligned with Mother Earth. You feel more intuitive when you're grounded. So I'm going to just tell you a couple of my favorite ones. I am a great one on my clients on massaging the soles of the feet, really opening up all that heel area. You know, there's a shock point on the heel area. And so much of what happens, of what is irregular in our energies, comes from shock. You know, from the massive shock of bad news to the more subtle shock of, oh, that bill's a bit high, you know, but shock can get stuck in your body. So by massaging the heel of your feet, this area here, massaging kidney 1, which is roughly around this area, opening the foot that way, opening it that way, you are really enhancing the body's ability to connect to the earth. The other thing which I love is get yourself a stainless steel spoon and just come up the foot like this. I do this when I do a lot of, well, in normal times, I'm on a plane every month. And this is what I do. As soon as I get into my hotel room is I will do this. This really helps the polarity of the body. And then I come off each toe. Whenever you're shaking energy around, make sure you get it. Give it another exit. And then that foot, massaging it open, working kidney 1, working the shock point, pulling off the toes. Doesn't have to take long. Will make you will really help your grounding. I don't know if any of you have read a book called Earthing. Dreadful, I've forgotten who's written it. I'll have to put it up. I'll give it to Bettina, okay? But that's a great book, okay? And they say basically, the authors, you know, we're meant to walk on the earth. We're meant to be connected on the earth. It's nourishing, it's healthy, it's, you know, it's that two-way street of discharging and ingesting energy. And then came the shoe, which wasn't too bad because it was probably leather or something natural. Then came the wheel, you know, and we look how we've evolved. Some people's bare feet never touch the earth, ever. They work in high-rise buildings. They get there from a flat, you know, off the ground. They travel there in cars or trains or planes, you know, or even if they're running there in those big trainer shoes, you know. I nearly said plimsolls, trainers. I'm sure there's another word. I'm sure some 16-year-old would say, no, you don't call them trainers anymore, Maddie. But you get my drift. You know, we're separated from the earth. So whenever you get the opportunity, get your feet onto the earth, get your fingers in the earth. You know, when I'm in southern Spain, it's very easy because it's lovely weather and I can sit on the earth or on the beach. I live by the beach and just toes and fingers in the earth. And you can feel everything drain out of you. And then you can begin to feel all the goodness of the yin energy coming in. So don't underestimate grounding. Please include this in your protocol. Okay, so those are that's my main pearls. Okay, it's make your statement, increase your belief, do large intestine 4, do liver 3, tap K27. Please pay attention to your grounding in whatever way suits you. There are so many different ways. Find a way that suits you. I actually did a little online class, which you can get on my website. What did I call it? The Barefoot Revolution. I was so chuffed with that title. I really love that title, Barefoot Revolution. So if you're really new to this and you're not sure about grounding, that gives you loads of different ways of grounding. But I want to end with my little bonus pearl, which I'm sneaking in at the end. And it's lung 9. So we're all going to find it now. So lung, as we know, is thumb. Now just come down your thumb to just here at the base of your thumb on that wrist. If ever you're trying to find points, if you flex, you know, it becomes easier. Again, it's a master point. It's a source point. Now, source points, I just want to say, are amazing to use, okay, because they're self-regulating. So you can never overwork or underwork a source point. You know, I always think of them as sort of dummy proof, really, foolproof. You know, if you work a source point, it's a hyperlink of energy to the organ, and it's no nonsense. I love source points. But anyway, it is a source point lung, and it's on both sides of the body. Okay, you can just hold one whilst you're listening to me now. I'm going to hold this one. And yes, of course, it really is good for lung health on a physical level. It's excellent for lung health on an emotional level of letting go of things we need to let go of. It sits in metal, so it's all about letting go and processing and everything. But if you use this at the end or the beginning or anywhere in a treatment where you think, God, this is a bit confusing, I'm not quite sure what this body's telling me. Okay, it could be that the energy of that body itself is confused and it's chaotic and it doesn't really know. It's not giving you a clear picture and direction because it doesn't know it. So sometimes it's worth just taking a break, and on you or your client, just holding. You can do them together on yourself as well. If you're lazy, this is the shortcut. You can hold them together. Okay, you just hold them. Always take time to breathe and connect into these points. I can really connect into mine now. I might go in a bit too deep there. You connect into them, and then you just say, give me clarity. Show me the way. Give me clarity. Help me understand. What's the focus? Whatever words, but you're asking the energy. And this source point on lung can begin, when it's activated, to restore some order to the chaos that some energies can be in. And in doing that, suddenly you begin to get much more of an intuitive hit on what the energies are telling you, but also your testing will be clearer. It's one of the reasons why sometimes muscle testing can give irregular results, because the energy itself is chaotic. So this does help the lungs physically, but it also can bring the direction you need in a treatment. Okay, it brings that direction into focus by bringing the energy of the body all together so you can read it. So this was a fairly recent thing of the last few years I learned, and I doubted this point at first. And then I did it on myself first of all. So, you know, sometimes you get something, you put it in your back pocket. As I said before, it's all about timing, and I didn't use it. And then I had something happening on my body and I was very confused. I just really couldn't quite get a handle on it. And ding, the light bulb went. So I sat really working lung 9. In actual fact, I work them separately because sometimes the lazy way is fine when the body knows what you're doing. But if not, I just did lung 9. I also put a little bit of frankincense resin on there, taped it on with micro tape. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Just to sort of keep it working all the time. And then what was happening is when I was trying to self-test my body, when I was trying to get an intuitive feel, what's going on here, it suddenly became clear, you know, and it was almost like you could feel it, the energies moving, and suddenly you could see it. So I would encourage you, that's a great one to keep in your back pocket, a little pearl of wisdom to be nestling in your back pocket. And in times of confusion, try it on yourself first. It can bring clarity. Okay, so those are my pearls of wisdom. And I would encourage you to do that little protocol, you know, and or just break it down and you think, you know, I don't like that pearl of hers, but I do like that pearl. And just be consistent in doing it and objectively evaluate if it really does make a difference to you. All of those have made a huge difference to me. And all of them, I don't even want to put them in order of importance because each one of those are things which I wish I'd realized. I've been told most of them, but I hadn't realized just how important and how fundamental they are to my own self-care. Because don't forget, we're putting ourselves first. We're number one, and to the care of my clients. So have fun with them, enjoy them, experiment with them. Some of you may know them already, in which case maybe I'm reminding you of them. Yeah, and have fun and enjoy them. And may they help you on your journey. Thank you.